Welcome back to Last Request Barbecue. Tonight, Cacio Pepe. So this is a classic pasta with some of the yummiest ingredients. We're going to make it in my brand new pan using my brand new knife I just got from the shopping channel, today's shopping choice, just to give it a try. The main ingredients are really simple. Oil, butter. We're going to get this lovely smoked pancetta from Cumbri's. And then we'll be putting in lots of these potato gnocchis. So this one here, particularly these bags, are from my next door neighbor who has Mississauga noodles. If you happen to be in Toronto, Mississauga area, Luch makes wonderful, wonderful pasta. So that's going to be going in. Our water's on the boil already. We're going to mix it together. It's all going to come together. It's a real quick, and of course pepper, lots of pepper. The Pepe part of Cacio Pepe. So it's a quick meal, actually. You know, never think that you can't go out and, in 15, 20 minutes with the water boiling, pull this all together and have a fantastic, fantastic meal. Let's get started. All right, our water is already boiling. We've got a new cutting board, if you maybe noticed. We've got our Cumbri's smoked pancetta. And we got this new knife, pretty cool, right? So this is, I got this from the shopping channel, I guess today's shopping choice, as it's now known. I worked there for a bunch of years, so I'm not quite used to that. So a very different knife than a chef's knife. It's a samurai series, but a Santoku format knife. And what's different about that is all the weight is here. All the weight's in this handle. So it's not really meant to go back and forth. It's meant to just have that weight and go downward. You see the blade isn't quite flush by purpose. And it's also got these things here which generally mean that food or veggies won't stick to them. Anyway, it's a good deal. It's really super sharp, so I'm kind of excited to use it. Again, all the weight is here in the handle. It's a very different shaped knife. But anyway, let's get cutting our pancetta and give it a test drive. Whoa! It is certainly sharp. Love, love, love a sharp knife. We'll do an episode about sharpening knives because I have a mechanical sharpener of knives, but I don't love with it. It's actually a Wolfgang Puck product that I got when I was working at the shopping channel. Works pretty well, but I would like to get into learning more and doing more. Well, maybe we'll learn together about the best ways to cut. But anyway, this knife is quite sharp, so I'm loving that. All right, let's get to cutting up our pancetta. We're going to cut it up in fairly small bits. It does shrink. Oh, what a beautiful knife. And again, the weight is all in the handle, so I'm really enjoying this, actually. And if you're looking for good value, generally the shopping channel, and again, today's shopping choice, does a good job of bringing great value. And more importantly, it does what I guess is the live streaming of today. It's been around for 30 years. Is you can watch someone cook with it, watch someone explain the features and benefits. And that's great. I mean, that's why they sell so many, everything from KitchenAid to apparel. So, if you're not into watching it on TV, that's cool. But they do have a great online website where they do a lot of business. So check it out. Anyway, love that knife. That's great. Let's put a little bit of avocado oil. I do like to start it off in my brand new pan. I was just itching to do something with this pan. We've got some heat going on there. I just want to put a little bit of oil in there. That's probably a little bit hotter than I want. And let's put in our pancetta. Oh, that's not too bad at all. And that will be ingredient number one. Again, the water is going, so we'll have our gnocchi ready to throw on, but first step is our pancetta. All right, so while our pancetta is cooking up, as you can hear, we're gonna get our pepper ready. Fresh ground pepper, about a teaspoon. And it's great to have it fresh ground, so I'm just gonna grind in here the fresh pepper. Oh, that's going out slow. All right, so for our fresh pepper, if you want to take a shortcut, which I kind of like shortcuts, this is a coarse ground pepper, and it is freshly purchased, I guess. It's not perhaps as good as freshly ground, but the effervescence from this pepper is really fantastic. It is a really nice, well-ground product, and very strong. That's about as much pepper as we're going to need. Maybe I'll put, put a little bit more. That's a bit too much. I mean, we're really going for about a tablespoon, which is about that much. So that is our pepper. All right, so our pancetta is ready. We'll just take that off the heat, and then we will scoop it out. Take these out, stop that cooking. We'll leave the oil in there, and now we'll just wait once we get this done. There we go. Let's give that a quick taste just to make sure it passes inspection. Looking pretty amazing. Smoky goodness. That will be amazing. All right, so you've got a bit of oil here. We're going to put that off the heat. Let that sit over there, and we are now going to wait for our pasta water to be ready and our pasta to be ready. Check that out. Amazing. Here, let's have another piece. Very good. All right. All right, our pasta water is boiling. So let's get into there. Our gnocchi, once again, from my friend Luch at Mississauga Noodles. Some delicious, now this is frozen. So Luch's instructions are cook this one for about 10 to 12 minutes. If you had fresh pasta, they've almost got little timers built in. If you got fresh pasta, you just leave it there and then they all kind of jump to the top. But for now, for this, we are going to put this for 10 to 12 minutes. And we're cooking this for, there's 4 heavy eaters, and then we'll have a bit of leftovers for lunch tomorrow. Intentional leftovers, as Sam the cooking guy was saying. By the way, this recipe, or this format of the recipe, inspired by Sam the cooking guy, for sure. Shout out to Sam. If you don't watch or subscribe to Sam the cooking guy, by all means do so. Now, one of the things Sam would say is as soon as you put that pasta in there, give it a good stir so it doesn't stick. I've already got, it's pretty heavily salted water actually. And let's start the timer. Hey Siri, set timer 9 minutes.
I'm listening.
Now you're listening. Set timer 9 minutes.
Okay, 9 minutes and counting.
All right, so it's been 9 minutes, a good solid 9 minutes. Let's take a look at, oh yes, and look at all that has reached the top. That's like little timers in these things. They kind of go off. It's perfect. They're all flowed to the top. They're ready to go. So let's drain it. A lovely gnocchi has been drained and is just sitting up. We're going to leave that water because we're going to use it. Now we're going to leave that there. That'll stay warm and moist. Now let's get back to some action here, where we're going to take our pan and put it back onto our heated surface and let that, see that pancetta grease there, we'll let that thin out a little bit. Cheers, by the way. All right, so that's looking pretty good. That's lightened up a little bit. Our pot's hot. Now into that, I'm going to put a little bit of butter, just about a tablespoon maybe. Create a bit of a sauce. Always using now, thank you Dr. Sylvain Charlebois on Buttergate, always using grass-fed butter. And I do find a difference. You may or may not, but I was skeptical at first. But you know, 2 minutes with Dr. Sylvain Charlebois will resolve that skepticalness. All right, so now we're gonna put our fresh ground pepper, or pepper, as I said, already ground, but incredibly effervescent, into, there we go. That creates our base, and we're gonna toast that up. Move it around, and we're gonna toast it up for about 2 minutes, or a minute and a half. You can really smell that pepper is just releasing its wonderfulness as it kind of gets toasted. It's waiting for our gnocchi. Very happy, by the way, with my new pan. Let's put in our gnocchi, our fresh gnocchi. Oh, hear that sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Very nice. Let's move that back here. Now, I did make a mess of gnocchi, but that's okay. In our instance, my advice, always have some fresh gnocchi handy, because you can always make great use of it in your recipes. There we go. Now let's just move it around, and look at how that's already coating. Beautiful. Don't drain that pasta water. There's a cup of our pasta water. You'll see what we'll do with that just shortly. Now from here, we're using Parmesan. We got fresh Parmesan I've ground up here. So we're gonna put a third of what ultimately I'm gonna do in here. And we're gonna go a bit slow, mix that up. Just a third, mix that in. Now that's just a third of what's going to be here. So let's put another third in here. Now as you can see, it's starting to stick a little bit and the pan is getting hotter and hotter. So now is the time I'm gonna put in some of our pasta water. And that's gonna create a delicious sauce with the cheese. Now let's throw the rest of our cheese in. Look at that delicious sauce that it's just creating. Now, let's fold in our pancetta. Now you could add this pancetta at the end, like when you're serving, if you like your pancetta crispy, because this is gonna soften up the pancetta. So if you like your pancetta a little crispy, like that crispiness on top of whatever you're eating, then I would add this just at the very end. This is actually gonna soften up the pancetta. Now the trade-off is you're gonna have more pancetta flavor in your gnocchi doing it this way. So then we just let that warm up a little bit. We're almost done, almost ready to serve. And our pasta is done, so let's plate it up. perfect. Now onto that, let's add a little more cheese, and we're gonna throw on a couple of fresh basil leaves and drizzle with just a touch of olive oil. And there we go, cacio e pepe.